Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon, sir.
So today we'll start our discussion as far as secondary markets are concerned. Okay, by the way, I would like to remind you again that tomorrow is 25th of September. I had told you that there will be a session for you from 11 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. It's 1.5 hour session. It will be given by a person called Ashok Kumar, who is a managing director, okay, of a company called as Lotus No Wealth Private Limited. It's a Mumbai-based company. They are, what you can say, they are the knowledge partners on behalf of Bombay Stock Exchange. Okay, so by profession, Mr. Ashok Kumar is a chartered accountant and a lawyer, and he has over 3 decades, that means 30 years of experience in the stock markets. Okay, so he will be addressing you on a session tomorrow as far as the capital markets are concerned. Okay, so tomorrow I'll send you the link, the Zoom link, so you can log in through that particular Zoom link. Okay, anyways, so let us start our discussion as far as the secondary markets are concerned, right? So we have discussed everything as far as the primary markets are concerned. So we have seen, who are the parties involved, what are the different processes by which shares can be issued, who are the types of investors, what is their percentage or how much percentage they can come into the business, or what is the allocation of shares that can happen to them. So all these things we have discussed as far as the primary markets are concerned. Again, I'm repeating, primary market is that particular market wherein any company who wants to issue shares for the first time, if they satisfy all the criteria, they can issue shares by using one or the other methods. The methods are the regular IPO, the FPO, fast track issues, then we have private placement, brought out deals, right? And then we have the rights issue, and finally we have the book building process. So this is what we discuss as far as the primary markets are concerned. We also came across as to what are the things that as an investor you should be aware when you step or when you want to jump into the primary markets and want to grab some shares of a new company who wants to list its shares, right? So you need to look for credibility of the people who manage it, the promoters credibility, the board of management, the profitability statements, the risk factors, okay, the utilization of the money, the products and projects that the company has. So all these factors is what we have seen as far as the factors should be considered. Second, we also saw what are the problems that have been faced as far as Indian primary market is concerned. One of the peculiar problems that Indian primary market is constantly facing is aggressive pricing. Okay, then there is of course recession, inflationary pressures are also there. We had political instability almost 7-8 years back, but now we don't have any political instability. Okay, our reserves are comparatively higher. So all those problems over a period of time we have come over. So we are done with the primary markets. Now we will shift our focus to a secondary market. Now before going into what is a secondary market is that particular market wherein shares which have already been issued in the primary market, if you want to trade those particular shares, you have to come to the secondary market. For example, I gave you a case of a company called as SBI Cards, right? SBI Credit Cards. So the name of the company is SBI Credit and Payment Systems Private Limited. That was the name of the company. That company wanted to issue shares. So let us say Narayan, Rohin, Rashmi, Murali, all these people have purchased those particular shares. They, when the shares were offered, they accepted the offer and they purchased the shares. Okay. Now they feel that they want their money back. Now they feel that they want their money back. Now, if you feel that you should get your money back, you cannot go to State Bank cards. They will never give you your money. They will say, our shares are already listed in the secondary market. Go and trade those shares there, and whatever money that is available, whatever price that is available, you can get that money for those particular shares. Okay. So shares which have already been issued, if you want to trade in those particular shares, you cannot go back to the company. You have to come to the secondary market, and then where you can sell your shares in the secondary market, and accordingly you can liquidate your position or you can get your money back depending on whatever is the market price of that particular share. Is this clear? Are you able to understand?
Yes, sir.
Okay. For example, I'll give you my own case. I purchased 10 shares of Reliance Industries when the share price was 380 rupees. Okay, long time back, 2.5, 3 years back, when the price of Reliance shares was 380, 390, that particular range. I purchased around 10 shares. Today, the price of one share has gone to 2,200 rupees. So I have kept that shares with me over a period of 2 to 3 years, and I have made a certain amount of money. Now, if I want to get back my money, what I need to do, I need not go to Reliance Industries and ask them to take your shares back. They will never take the shares back. What I can do is I can go to the secondary market. That means I can go to the stock market. I can sell these shares that I have, and I can recover my money. So this is how the structure of secondary market is. Step by step, we'll go into what are the details of the secondary market. Any doubts as far as the introductory part of secondary market is concerned? If there are no doubts, yes, Narayan, you have a doubt?
No, sir. No, sir.
There's one chat that I am getting, in fact, two chats. Okay, no problem. From Rashmi and Rohit. So let us start with what is a secondary market. As I said, secondary market is a place wherein you can trade existing shares, and the better the secondary market, the more liquidity is there in the system. So let us see where you can trade those shares. Okay, now this is one of India's biggest stock exchanges. This is called Bombay Stock Exchange. Okay, it is located in Mumbai, so definitely it's called Bombay Stock Exchange. Okay, and it is one of the prime, or you can say it is India's oldest, not only India's, it is Asia's oldest exchange. Okay, so this is how the exchange looks. Many of you have not even seen how does a Bombay Stock Exchange look. So this is a picture of Bombay Stock Exchange. Both the buildings, the tall building that you can see behind, and the front round building that you can see, both the buildings are belonging to the Bombay Stock Exchange. Okay, so a lot of business takes place here. I'll tell you how much of business takes place in the next slide. Okay, now, so Bombay Stock Exchange is the oldest exchange in Asia, not only India but the whole of Asia. It is the oldest stock exchange. Okay, uh, the market capitalization, in fact, I have to change this. The market capitalization is around $2 trillion now. It is not 1.6, but it is $2 trillion as of December 2017. I think I'll change it here so that. So the market capitalization of that particular company is around $2 trillion. Now you imagine how much is trillion. How many 1 million is how many zeros? 1 million means how many zeros?
1 million, 10 lakhs, sir.
1 million is 10 lakhs. Okay, so how much is 100 million? How much is 100 million?
1,000 lakhs.
Not 1,000 lakhs. 100 lakhs.
Yes, sir.
Okay,
100 million, yes.
right? Then what
10
is 1
crores.
million? So just imagine million, 10 million, 100 million, 1 billion, 10 billion, 100 billion, and next comes 1 trillion. And right now the market capitalization of Bombay Stock Exchange is 2 trillion US dollars. So that is the amount of business, or that is the amount of money that Bombay Stock Exchange currently trades. Again, I am saying 2017. We are already 3 years ahead of that, right? So this is the amount of business, or this is the amount of money that is been traded as far as the value of Bombay Stock Exchange is concerned. Next, it is Asia's fourth largest exchange now, and probably the eighth largest exchange in the world. Okay. Next, around not only June, I think I'll have to change this also. As of 2017, there were around 7,000 odd companies that have been listed. Okay, and active trading takes place only in 4,000 shares. Okay, active shares are only 4,000, but there are more than 7,000 shares which have been listed. Okay, to give you an example, opposite to our college, I think there is a company called as Bemco Hydraulics. Do you know that?
Yes, sir. We went, sir.
I think you had been there. Yeah. The shares of that particular
Yes, sir.
company are also traded on Bombay Stock Exchange. Of course, they are not traded, they are listed on Bombay Stock Exchange, but there is hardly any trade. Okay. Another company that I can give you, which is well known in Belgaum, is, have you heard of a company called Renuka Sugars? Heard of the company called Renuka Sugars? The office is in Camp.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
The office is in Camp. So that company is also listed on Bombay Stock Exchange. Again, it is listed, but as far as trade is concerned, it is not much traded, right? So like this, we have around 7,000 odd companies which have been listed, and around 4,000 are active shares which have been traded on the Bombay Stock Exchange. Next, one of the key component of Bombay Stock Exchange is there is a word called as Sensex. Okay, it's also called as BSE 30, and it is widely used in Indian market. Okay, if you really ask people, if you really want to know whether India is growing, or India is in a stagnant position, or there is a decline in the growth, it is very difficult to compute on other aspects. So what do people generally refer? They refer the market, they refer the index, and looking at the index, they say, okay, fine, if the index is going up, that means we can experience growth in the economy. If the index is flat, that means we can experience some stagnation, and if the index is going down, that means the economy is not doing so well. So Sensex is a benchmark which has been used in India to know whether the country is progressing or the country is in a negative direction, right? So this is the important measure as far as Sensex is concerned. Again, the word Sensex has two words in it. It's called sensitivity index. So that is the reason when you club these two words, it becomes Sensex. Okay, yeah. Yeah, any doubts? Next, as I said,
No, sir.
brief history, a very short brief history, whatever can be accommodated in one slide, I have put it. So it is the oldest stock exchange in Asia. That is what we already know. So it started way back in 1850. Okay, when there were only 5 people. There were 4 Gujaratis and 1 Parsi broker who used to gather under a banyan tree and trade in shares in an unorganized manner. Okay, unorganized means there were no rules and regulations. Just these 5 people were brokers, so they used to gather under a tree. Okay, and there they started trading in shares. Okay, slowly they moved to another location. Okay, in 1874 they moved to another location. The name of that particular street today is what you know is called as the Dalal Street. The name of the street is Dalal Street. So they moved to that particular place, and in 1875 they started an association. Okay, and that association is called as the Native Share Brokers Association. Okay, so they created an association, and wherein they asked people to join and formally inducted them as traders, and trading started in that particular stock, in that particular association. Again, it was not an exchange then. There was no office also in that particular exchange. They used to just gather under a tree, sit in a garden, and then trade on shares. So that is how trading actually started. And mostly what was traded during those times, shares of only those companies which were in garments. So cotton was heavily traded, oil seeds were traded. Okay, so these were the main commodities that were traded as far as 1875 is concerned. Soon after that, just wait. Yeah, soon after that, uh, it continued. It has a legacy of more than 140 years now. It continued doing the same business until 1956, when in 1956 the government of India recognized their association and gave it a new name called as the Bombay Stock Exchange. Okay, they recognized that a particular association, and they named it as the Bombay Stock Exchange. And once it was renamed as Bombay Stock Exchange, the government of India enforced a law on that particular association called as the Securities Contract Regulation Act. So this particular act was passed on to that particular association, and they said that anyone who wants to become a broker or anyone who wants to trade into shares or any company who wants to issue shares, okay, will be guided or regulated by the Securities Contract Regulation Act. Today, if you ask me, is that law there? No, sorry, that law is no longer there. Okay, that law has been already abolished, and that law is no longer no longer active, right? So over from 1956, the story started. After independence, slowly the Bombay Stock Exchange also started making uh, big ways. They started making more business. They started adding more number of traders. They started adding more number of shares, and as a result, in 1986, when there were so many number of companies getting added on daily basis in Bombay Stock Exchange, they really did not know how to keep a track of all these companies. So what did they do? They picked up the top 30 companies. They picked up the top 30 companies from different sectors, maybe from pharma sector, from banking, from automobile, from textiles, okay, from, of course, there was no information technology that time. They took it from cement industries. So they took all these, good company shares, and they got a list of 30 good company shares, and they made these 30 company shares as a benchmark. And they said that, okay, we are going to shortlist these 30 shares because they are having heavy trading volume. They are very good company shares, and we will call these particular shares as a benchmark, and the name was given as Sensex. Okay, so how is Sensex computed now? What happens with the Sensex? Uh, what method was used during those times and what method is used now? There's a vast difference. So we'll see those details as and when we come across. But one of the important breakthrough that happened in 1986 is when Bombay Stock Exchange started getting a lot of company shares. It was really difficult for those people to administer those many number of companies, because one share went up today, the second share went down. Third day, something else gone up, something else is going down. So they did not really have a track to monitor the performance of the index. So that is the reason they decided that we'll create a benchmark, we'll create a yardstick. So they shortlisted 30 good companies, and they said, okay, these are some good companies that we have, which are very stable, which are lucrative, which have high potential of growth. So any share, if we have to compare, we'll compare with all these 30 shares. And at the same time, we cannot compute all these 30 shares. So they created a value for it, and that particular value is what we call as Sensex. Sensitivity index. How sensitive is your share to that particular 30 shares? That is what we call as the Sensex. Okay. So this story started in 1986, and then in 1987, 88, 89, we had a big fraud, that is the Harshad Mehta scam, wherein people lost confidence in the Bombay Stock Exchange because of the frauds that took place, because of the mismanagement that used to happen. And as a result, Bombay Stock Exchange decided that we cannot work on paper and pen method. We have to switch to an electronic method, and that's the reason in 1995, okay, Bombay Stock Exchange shifted from an open office system to an online system. That is what we call as BOLT. BOLT stands for Bombay Online Trading System. Okay, so a system called as BOLT was started. Today, it is so efficient that in a very small time, it can process around 8 million orders per day. So that is how they have developed this particular system. It's a very strong system now, and look at the processing speed. It can process around 8 million orders in a day. So that is how the speed of this particular system is now. Okay. In 2000, BSE used this index to open its derivative markets. By the way, derivative markets is another segment of the security markets. A much higher and improved version of derivative of stock market is a derivative market. I'll introduce you to this in the next semester. But in 2000, Bombay Stock Exchange started with a new segment called as the derivative segment. And the first contracts that were traded were index future contracts, followed by index option contracts. Okay. So as of now, I'll just tell you that there is something called as derivative. Okay. As and when time comes, I will explain to you how the contract of derivatives works out. Yeah. Any doubts up to this point? If there are no doubts, we'll move forward. We'll move forward. One chat here. Okay. So we saw the size of Bombay Stock Exchange. We saw how much of business they do, how much of value they generate, how many orders they process, the scale, operation of all these things came into picture. But at the end of the day, okay, at the end of the day, by this time SEBI was already formed. SEBI came to know that this Bombay Stock Exchange is not a registered company. Okay, it is still an association. Remember, I told you in 1850 and 1875 when it started, they started as an association, and till recently they continued to be an association. That means they had the right to decide how many people to come in, they had the right to decide how many people to leave, or who could be a broker, who could not be a broker in that particular association was all decided by the existing members. So there were a lot of people were very angry on such type of system. Good players were not allowed to come in, bad players continued to remain inside, and that is the reason they said that this concept of Bombay Stock Exchange is not going to work out any further. We need to have a better regulated, okay, and free exchange should be available in India. Okay, by this time SEBI also came to know that Bombay Stock Exchange has a lot of loopholes in its system, which is very difficult to remember. Instead of repairing Bombay Stock Exchange, let us start something new and start it from the ground itself and build it with the latest technology so that every order or everyone gets benefit out of this particular system. That is the reason NSE came into picture. So NSE is also located in Mumbai. NSE stands for National Stock Exchange. Okay, it is one of the biggest stock exchange in India. In fact, now NSE is bigger than Bombay Stock Exchange. Okay, so we'll see what are the details of NSE in the next slide. Yeah, you can just go through some details of it. It is the third largest exchange in the world. Okay, it is the third largest exchange in the world in terms of trade and ninth largest stock exchange in the world by market capitalization, right? So it has a huge, very huge market capitalization. Okay, and the technology that is being used in NSE is they use a technology called as VSAT. Okay, VSAT stand for Very Small Aperture Terminal. It's a satellite based communication system. NSE very easily came to know that in a country like India, wherein we do not have good connectivity, telephone connectivity, getting orders from people across small towns, cities, or across distances is going to be difficult because we don't have connectivity. Instead of relying on cable lines, that is telephone lines, let us make use of the satellite technology. So it is the first exchange in the world to start satellite communication technology. Okay, so in the points to come we will understand what is a satellite communication technology, right? So the second point says NSE like BSE has, if NSE has if BSE has 30 good shares, which they call it as an index, NSE said we will have 50 shares. Okay, we will have 50 shares and top 50 shares will consider it as an index, and that is the reason it is called Nifty. Why Nifty? NSE 50 shares. So if you combine these two words, it becomes Nifty. So top 50 shares of the shares that are traded on a national stock exchange were clubbed together from different segments, and a benchmark was created, and this particular benchmark they called it by the name as Nifty. Okay, so it is National Stock Exchange 50, or commonly called as Nifty, right? Today Nifty is more powerful, more better, more aggressive, okay, and more widely accepted than Sensex. Okay, next. So NSE is mutually owned by leading financial institutions. Remember I told you Bombay Stock Exchange all these years was owned by people, not owned, it was an association run by people. Okay, it was not run by corporates. Whereas NSE was started by financial institutions, banks, insurance companies, and other financial institutions in India. Okay, once they came to know what are the loopholes in Bombay Stock Exchange, they said we will not allow individual people to come into this particular exchange, but let entities come into this particular exchange and become owners or promoters of this company. And that is the reason NSE is started by banks, financial institutions, okay, insurance companies, and other financial intermediaries in India. Next, we have some data there. As of 2006, NSE had around 2,799 VSAT terminals, and they covered around 1,500 1,500 cities across India. In fact, today this number has crossed 4,000 terminals, and the number is around, they have reached around 5,000 cities across India. So that is the reach of NSE. If you look at the growth of NSE, it is the second fastest growing exchange in the world with a growth rate of around 16.6%. So this is the growth rate of this particular exchange. Okay. Next, it is the first exchange in the world to use electronic limit book order system. Now I'll come to electronic limit book order system when we come to orders. Okay, as of now, you just understand that exchange. It is the first exchange to make use of a technology called as electronic limit book order system. Okay. Next, NSE is also a pioneer in setting up NSCCL, that is National Securities Clearing Corporation. Okay, I'll tell you what are these things as and when we come, because if I start telling you everything in one go, it is very difficult for you to understand. Okay, so NSE started, third point is NSE started trading, started with internet trading way back in 2000 only. And apart from that, they also are they were the first pioneers to come out with derivative products and first to trade in gold exchange traded derivatives. Today, 10 grams of gold is somewhere around 50,000 rupees. I know very well that spending 50,000 rupees to get just 10 grams of gold is very difficult for people. On the other hand, what you can do is you can invest small amount of money in gold ETF, gold exchange traded funds. So whatever money you invest, that will be fixed in certain gold. Okay, and as and when a substantial amount of money is created, either you can withdraw that money in the form of investment or purchase gold out of that. So that is the reason it's called gold exchange traded fund. Okay, so again, when it comes to ETF, that is exchange traded funds, we'll see that what is it. Next point is NSE also launched its education based channel called CNBC TV 18. Okay, in association with CNBC TV 18. So it is called NSE CNBC TV 18. So CNBC TV 18 has tied up with NSE for educating the overall mass of people in India as far as as far as market is concerned. Okay, next is NSE is the first exchange. So next, NSE is the first exchange in the world to use a satellite-based communication system. Okay, so it is called NEAT, National Exchange for Automatic Trader and Dealer Networks. So that is how it is called, NEAT. So National Exchange for Automated Trading and Dealer Network. So this is how they call it. So again, when we come to order placing, I'll show you a live screen also. I will show you a demo of how the live market also looks on the same screen, and how orders are generated, how books are being processed. All these things I'll explain to you. Next, what are some of the main features of NSE compared to BSE? It is a national ringless computerized network. That is one of the very important segments of NSE. What it has a better edge over BSEs. It is fully computerized exchange. Okay, it operates in capital markets also, and it operates into debt market also. On NSE, you can sell even bonds and debentures. Today, not only you can sell bonds and debentures, you can sell mutual funds, you can sell currencies, you can sell gold ETFs, you can sell shares, you can sell debt instruments, you can even sell treasury bill instruments also. All these money market instruments can also be sold in this particular market. So it's a huge market. In short, if I can tell you, NSE is like a supermarket of financial products. You can everything is available on NSE. Okay. So trades carried out on NSE are carried out using satellite linking technology. It is called VSAT. Okay, VSAT stands for Very Small Aperture Terminal. So this is a technology that has been used by NSE, so that even in the most remote place of India, if you want to access the price of certain shares, even if you don't have cable connectivity, if you don't have telephones, still using satellite technology, you can access the prices. So that is the reason the reach of this particular exchange is very, very wide. Okay. Next, NSE has order driven system. Okay, now I'll come to what is, again, when it comes to orders, under the heading of orders, we'll see what is an order driven system, how a number gets generated, and how a confirmation slip gets printed out, right? Next is when a trade is executed, of course, again, a trade confirmation slip gets generated, which reveals all the details of your trade. So those two, 3 points will come to that when we come to that order processing unit. One of the most important thing that NSE does is it does not disclose what is the name of that particular trader. Suppose I am a trader, okay, there will be a number that will be assigned to me. So they will never come to know whether it is Vaibhav trading or whether it is Rashmi trading or whether it is Amitabh Bachchan trading or whether it is some other person trading. They will never understand who is that particular person because a specific number has been given. It's similar to what is your USN number. Based on your USN number, will I ever come to know whether you are a male or a female? Whether I'll come to know whether you are a candidate from Karnataka or non-Karnataka? I will definitely not come to know this. So they do not disclose the identity of the trader, or this particular exchange will never disclose the identity of the trader because my name as Vaibhav will never come. I will be given a number, and based on that number only my tracking will happen. So because of this, what will happen? Okay, unnecessary panic will not set in the market, and unnecessary euphoria will also not set in the market. Okay, so that is one of the advantages of NSE, that they do not disclose traders identity. Next, NSE always follows a pay in and payout system, and all trades carried out by NSE are guaranteed by NSCCL, that is National Securities Clearing Corporation of India. So all trades are guaranteed. I'll just explain to you the last point. It means that suppose Rashmi, today you ordered shares of a company called as Page Industries. Okay. By the way, do you know what is Page Industry? Which company I'm talking about?
No, sir.
Page Industries. You don't know Page Industries? Anyone knows Page Industries? P-A-G-E.
So in a way,
It's not inner, it is jockey.
yes, sir.
Into inner wear also and external wear also. They are into sports equipment, sports wear also, right? So that particular company, the share of that particular company is priced. One share is priced at around 20,000 rupees odd. One share. If you want one share, one piece of paper of that particular company, which is a share, you have to pay 20,000 rupees. So that is the value of that particular company. Now, suppose if Rashmi, you demand or you put an order for 10 shares of such company, of this particular company, and accordingly you have to pay money. What is the guarantee that these 10 shares will come to you? When will you get those 10 shares? Only when NSE has those 10 shares. Only then you will be able to get those 10 shares, right? If NSE itself does not have that particular 10 shares, from where will it give it? It will not be able to give it, right? Are you with me, all of you?
Yes, sir.
So I'm saying Rashmi has put an order for 10 shares. In fact, 10 is too small number. Let us say Rashmi is a rich person. She puts an order for 10,000 shares of Page Industries. Okay. Now 10,000 shares may not be available with NSE at that moment of time. So in such case, Rashmi has paid the money, but she has not got 10,000 shares. She has got probably only 7,000 shares. She has not got the remaining shares because NSE itself does not have those shares. So from where will it generate the shares? In such case, okay, in such case, Rashmi will face a loss, right? Because she has paid the money and she has got only shares of 7,000 rupees, or she has got only 7,000 shares. She is expected to get 10,000 shares, but she has got only 7,000 shares. So what about the remaining 3,000? In such case, okay, there is a company within NSE called as NSCCL. Okay, there's a company called as NSCCL. It guarantees, okay, it guarantees, Rashmi, that come what may, whatever happens, we will deliver the remaining 3,000 shares to you. It might so happen that NSCCL may try to find out people who have shares of Page Industries. Even if that particular person is ready to sell the share for 30,000 rupees, NSCCL will purchase the share for 30,000 rupees and give it to Rashmi for only 20,000 rupees and make a loss of 10,000 rupees. Why? Because NSCCL is a guarantor for trade. So that is how NSE is. That is the reason why NSE is so successful. They guarantee the trade. That means if you have purchased 10,000 shares, you will get 10,000 shares. Okay, if you have sold 10,000 shares, you will get money for those 10,000 shares. So there is a perfect guarantee that is coming out, and that is the reason why NSE has surpassed Bombay Stock Exchange in terms of delivery system is concerned. So this is what I had to just tell you about some of the key distinctive features as far as uh, the NSE has over BSE. Okay, so it is a very huge exchange. In fact, your seniors were quite fortunate because I took them to NSE when they had been for an industrial tour. It was a hands-on experience because they actually had been in the exchange, wherein a lot of live trading was shown to them. Okay, unfortunately for you, it may not be possible in this particular semester, but whatever it is, I will still try to show you how on online, how does the market work, what happens inside the exchange, how people work there. All these things I'll be able to show you. Okay, so as and when we come to that particular session, I'll definitely show you how that particular screen looks like and what happens on that particular screen. I think if I'm not wrong, I just have that screen. Yeah, can you see this particular screen here? Are you able to see the screen?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so this is called as e-trading screen. This is of NSE itself. Okay, can you see the number of shares? So these are some top rated shares. Okay, Bank Nifty, ICICI Bank, Tata Steel, DLF, Steel Authority of India, National Thermal Power Corporation, ONGC, Reliance, ACC, Ambuja Cements, okay, Crane India Limited, Cipla, Mahindra and Mahindra, Reliance Capital, Reliance Industries, Wipro, Punjab National Bank, IFCI, Sun Pharma, Larsen and Toubro, Jindal Steel. So all these things are some top companies. Blue indicates that the price of these shares is going up. Okay, and red indicates, okay, look at this. You should look in this way. Look this way. So if this is blue and this is blue, that means the price of the shares are going up. Okay, if this is red and this is blue, that means there is a reverse order that is happening. So all these things I'll be able to tell you. Red means reducing, blue means going up. Okay, so this particular screen is called a trading screen. So if you want to put an order, you have to put order here. Okay, so I'll show you that order screen also. I'll open my personal account and I'll show you how the order screen also looks like. Okay, so all these things we'll see in the days to come. Yeah, so this is what I just wanted to show you. Just a minute. Yeah, so this is how the screen works. Probably in my next class on Saturday, right? Sorry, Saturday I think morning I have a class. Saturday I'll be able to show you the live screen. Okay, so you can see the live screen on Saturday, and accordingly you can understand things in a much better way. Is that clear? So we'll stop our class here. Okay, and in my next class we'll continue from where we had stopped. Again, I repeat, tomorrow we have a special lecture. Okay, I want every one of you to be present, even students who are from non-finance background, that means people who have taken marketing and HR. If you are really interested, please ask them to join. Okay, we can permit 40 students maximum. Out of that, 32 students are related to finance, might be marketing finance or HR finance. But I have seats, 8 seats more, so I can accommodate around 8 people more. Ask your friends to join in. The session will be tomorrow 11 to 12:30. Okay, so we'll stop the class here. Just let me take the attendance.